Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hit and Hustle from irishsportsdaily.com. I'm your host, Greg Flamong, and with me, as always, is Jamie Uwayama, Mr. Jamie University. It is Tuesday, August 25th. Today, we're going to do an overview of kind of where everything is at post-camp, right? Camp is broken. They started school this week, so they're doing their normal kind of game prep game week prep stuff going on. They're practicing in the afternoon now and everything like that. So I just figured it's a good time. Like, this is what we know, right? This is, and some of it is like things we don't know, right? Like at right guard and field corner, things like that. And then we just go over it, right? I think sometimes we make the mistake of not everyone follows every single show. It's crazy to think, Jamie, but that's actually the case. And so some people just need a breakdown of kind of where things at after camp. So I think this is a good episode for that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. If you like what you hear, hit that like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever it is we are going live. As always, the show is brought to you by ESQ Clothing, founded by Notre Dame alum Ge Wang. You've seen ESQ and all your favorite Notre Dame players and coaches, from All-Americans to All-Pros and associates to CEOs. You're in great hands with ESQ's custom clothing. Whether you're looking for the perfect fitting suit, a standout sport coat, or a perfect tuxedo for weddings and galas, ESQ's master tailors blend traditional hand stitching in each garment with Italy and England's best fabrics. Check out Ge's amazing work at esqclothing.com. Book an appointment to upgrade your wardrobe today. Mention ISD. Get 10% off your entire purchase. That's esqclothing.com. Right at the start, Jamie, I want to stick up for my guy, Tyler Wojak, Locked on Irish. First of all, congrats to him on his engagement. You got engaged over the weekend.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, that's great. He put out a tweet during the Marcus Freeman press conference. He said something I'm paraphrasing. It's something to the effect of like, hey, Marcus Freeman's mad. I don't know what it is or why it is, but he looks upset. And it's just like, I don't know. And whenever you post something vague like that on the Twitters, people will be like, why are you reading into this, all this other stuff or whatever? And he and I had a good laugh about it. The fact of the matter is Marcus Freeman was mad. People thought, apparently people on the beat thought like someone had gotten hurt. So in the room, like, it was like, why is he so pissed off? People thought like there was an injury on the team. It wasn't that. He just wasn't happy with certain aspects of the practice. It was sloppy, a lot of mistakes, and any head coach is going to be ticked off about that. And that's just, coaches don't like sloppiness, Jamie. So, that's the deal. Marcus Freeman was upset, and he was pretty clearly upset to me. We knew going in he was mad. We had heard he was mad about the practice. So, but anything from the practice before we get into some of the nitty gritty on kind of, the offense winning, I think that's actually a good thing.
I think it's a good thing.
The offense outperforming the defense, and anything else from Marcus Freeman's press conference before we get into specifics.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if you heard that the defense was dominating the whole time, I think that's not a good thing, especially when like CJ Carr, like, he knows the checks, he knows this, he knows that, and then you're like, oh, they're really still, and you're like, I would be concerned. That is when I would be concerned, is if it was like, oh, they got whooped today, right? So
again,
and also too, like Chris Mack saying the defense got laced at the foul. I've never heard laced before. Is laced a thing?
I've only heard it in basketball.
Okay.
Like a guy hits a jumper, he laced it, right? Like a swish kind of thing. Okay. I've never heard it.
It must be a Gen Z thing that I don't know what's going on here. I'm too old. But I think one other thing to remember is that they do stuff too when the defense is winning, which is Matt reported as well. They put the defense at disadvantage in certain things so that, and then it's like, you got to overcome adversity, right? So it's like, it's not always a level playing field, so there's that kind of stuff that goes along, with it too. But I don't know. I just think it's just like one of those things where the defense is going to get beat, the offense is going to get beat. And if you, like I mentioned on not Hidden Hustle, but on Power Hour yesterday, like I was reading about like Texas's scrimmage and Ohio State's scrimmage. Everybody's scrimmaging right now because they're finishing camp and going into their game preparation, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's having their final kind of scrimmages. A lot of coaches talking about, oh yeah, this was good. And I don't know. Like, it's not a lot of coaches who are just like raving about stuff. And these are like the teams that are picked to win it all, So it's like, it's not that they're not complimentary about their players, but definitely it's not like one of those things where it's like it's all sunshine and lollipops, right? Not everything is all good.
And then, like, coaches get mad, like it's especially when it's sloppy, right? Like that will drive a coach nuts. It's not about any particular unit like performing well or the offense like not happy with the defense or whatever. The team can play how the team plays. If you're sloppy, if you're making mistakes, you're committing penalties, like they're gonna go off. And apparently Marcus Freeman did, which is good, right? It's good. It's good to go off on the team every now and then. And
Normal.
as far as like what it means, like we heard the D line was especially, they got it right from Freeman and from Partridge. Apparently they had to run after practice, which is like not normal, right? But then he gets asked in the press conference, like, who's the deepest unit? He says the D line, so like he's still happy with the group, even though like that particular day he wasn't thrilled with whatever their effort or they were making assignment errors or whatever it was. He still thinks the group is good. So a coach's mood on a particular day is not reflective of how he feels overall.
Also, I think you can read between the lines when it's like, they're not happy with the D line. Bunch of guys jumped off sides.
Yeah.
Bunch of guys jumped off sides.
Yeah.
Which
it's free plays.
And that is, because that's the kind of thing. It's different if like, hey, you got beat, like this guy blocked you or whatever. But when you're giving that kind of stuff, that's like the stuff that coaches hate. So just what it is.
And just like anecdotally, that like reminds me, I think it was it must have been in team. There was, I want to say Hebert was the quarterback. The defense jumped off sides and he got a free play and he took a middle shot to Malin Graham and he hit it, which is one of the
play.
Like it's like
great throw.
Yeah, it was a great throw, but like maybe you don't make it when
100%.
If you don't have a free play,
Yeah.
So like can't be jumping off sides. That's no good. All right, let's get to the particulars of some of the things I want to talk about. First of all, like as far as position battles, there's no decision at backup quarterback, right guard, or at field corner. With backup quarterback, I don't honestly know that we are ever going to have. Well, maybe at some point we will, but going into week 1, I don't know that we're going to have a good idea of who will come in a situation where it's like someone needs to play real snaps for CJ Carr. Like he loses his helmet for a couple plays and they gotta bring in somebody. I don't know that we know who that's going to be, honestly. That's going to take a little bit of time. I couldn't even, we've heard good things about like kind of every quarterback recently. We've heard more good things about Gerard, but I think they're trying to catch him up as well. I just don't know what there is to make of the backup quarterback situation. It's just a wait and see for everybody. Do you have anything else on that?
I have a feeling it's going to be like an or on the first one. Maybe later that'll change. But also too, sometimes things change within it and they don't change what the depth chart says. So you never quite know. It'll be interesting to see what happens if like Notre Dame's up big and they need to play the backup quarterback, who's going to go in. Especially now, because there's no, with 5 for 5, it's not like, oh, well, this has got to be one of his 4 games for like Gerard or Grubbs. It's like, no, they can just choose whoever they want. So, I haven't heard enough either way. Hey, this is the guy. This is going to be the guy right now, or oh, it's like this right now and it's going to change later. It's like it's too early.
Yeah, we haven't heard on that. I'm going to jump to field corner. I think this is going to be when the depth chart comes out. I think there's going to be an or as well. I think these two are going to split time between Jaden Sanders and TJ McKinney. We've heard good things on both of them. And I think it's just going to be a situation where they're both going to play. Honestly, and this is going to evoke like maybe bad thoughts for people, but it is what it is. I think it's going to be similar to how like Devontae Smith got 37 snaps against Miami, and I want to say Hobbs got 21. I think it'll be something like that, where there's, I don't want to say a timeshare, but whoever starts, they're not going to play the whole way. They're going to switch off, in my opinion. And then whoever outperforms the other one, maybe over the course of the season, that kind of, there's a separation there. But that's my read of it. Do you have a different feel on that?
No, I thought that was kind of thing, but I was thinking of it was going to be that kind of scenario. But I was thinking, I think it was 2017 when it was Watkins and Nick Watkins was still there. Yeah. And then they started kind of splitting because Troy Pride started to kind of get in there
later in the year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it became more of a split. And obviously Julian Love was playing at a really, really high level. So that's how they kind of approached it. Think we could see something like that. And also they're just going to play more corners this year. They're going to it's just going to happen. I think you're going to see maybe some second quarter, Leonard Moore might not be out there for a series because they just are, going to play somebody else there. That might be hey, McKinney's going to be at the boundary and Sanders is going to be at the field, or something like that. Or I think they're just going to work the depth more.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a tangent for a second before we get to right guard here. I have a question for you. I apologize. This is a hypothetical. It's not even a hypothetical. It's guessing a lineup. How do you think Notre Dame's going to handle dime? And I want D-line all the way through.
D-line all the way through. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are we talking week 1?
Sure.
Okay. Week 1, I think what they're going to do is I think it's going to be Boubacar, Bryce Young, and I'm going to say Logan Thomas.
Good. So Bryce Young bump inside?
Bump inside.
Okay.
It's going to be those 3. I'm not discounting that they might go 4 and play another guy, but I think it's going to be 3 because I think even with KVA not being, I think that's how they're going to make sure that he gets snaps.
Okay.
So KVA, KVA and Bowen.
That's 5.
That's 5. Snead could probably work in there too. So I think there's that. And then at DB, Moore, Gray, one of Sanders or McKinney. Then you're going to have Bronte Johnson, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Adon Schuler and Luke Talek. That's what I think is.
That sounds right to me. I think that's their best 11 with I think the Logan Thomas spot you said is super variable. It could be Francis Brew. It could be Elijah Hughes. It could be it probably won't be Tion Gray. It could be
Armel Mukam.
Could be Armel Mukam, right? I think that one spot is very variable. I think the KVA spot is if they want to give, the thing is if they want to give Drake Bowen some a series or whatever, then KVA can play that spot and then Snead comes in, right? I think that with the 6, I think they want Talek out there.
Yeah.
Or Talech. I think they want him out there. And so I think that's going to be it. I think that's a low key, I'm going to be tracking that very closely. Just how do they want to handle the 3rd and long type situation? Because you can also blitz, you can blitz Bowen very easily. You can blitz, obviously KVA, you would be sending him, right? So that's an interesting, plus Notre Dame likes the 5-man, kind of mugged front too.
Yeah.
They do that a lot. And so that's going to be very fun to track.
I'm super interested to see what they're going to do there because obviously kind of, I can't blame them, but it kind of sucks because we used to get to see more of deeper into practice and you get at least
Yeah.
just a little bit of look of what
Just
like
a
the
little
sub
bit.
packages
Yeah.
would look like, and so you get a better idea. I think that there's going to be a little bit more changes there because I think Charlie Partridge is going to have um, a little bit more say in some of the stuff of like how they're attacking protections and stuff like that. So I think there's going to be that's going to make it interesting. I mean, I see some people in there talking about Osbury. Osbury will play there. I think the problem is that all those guys are going to play. It's just that they have too many guys. Like
So
you could say Matt
I'm,
Ferrero could be, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
I'm annoyed. I don't know the answer to this question. How many players can have the green dot? Because Bowen will have it.
Yeah.
So like, can Osbury have it? You know, like it's my point is like I think you need a linebacker who has it, just functional.
I think like last year it was KVA and
And
Bowen.
Bowen. Okay.
I think that's what it was, and then maybe they added Osbury later on. I'm not 100% sure. Because I wouldn't even be surprised too if they had like, well, Schuler has it or something like.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
I think you can
right?
have two. I think you definitely.
I think you can have two.
Yeah.
The thing is too is that with all of this, it really kind of depends on like, and this is the beauty of Notre Dame's personnel this year, is that they can really kind of decide to mix and match however they want to do it. So if they're playing somebody where they think, I want to get Osbury on the field because we're going to match up and we want him covering the back, in man.
Yeah.
And which I think totally makes sense. I think they can do that if they're playing a back who they feel like that's a guy that they want to have a matchup with or something. If they want to rush the passer, JLC is going to be on the field. Like he is going to make an impact that way. And really, I think like Bowen, I think because he's he's the Mike linebacker, he's a captain, he's a guy you really don't want to take off the field in too many instances. And I think he is a good pass rusher or whatever, but I would say that the other guys are better at rushing the passer than him. But he's also the guy who gets them in the right checks a lot too. So there's a lot of different things there. I have a feeling there's not going to be like a set, like, hey, these are our guys. Like, I think they're going to give some people some different looks. I really wonder, because that's something you don't really hear, and maybe just we're not asking the right questions if we talk to somebody, but like you don't hear about like, hey, who did they come up with in dime, and who were the specific guys, and who's having the most success there, and that's the kind of stuff you only know even really from being there every day, anyways, right? Yeah. So, I'm going to be really interested to kind of see how that goes. I do think just like going forward, I mean, we didn't mention Rodney Dunham, but like Rodney Dunham could be there. I mean, maybe not week one, but it could be week one, right? So, yeah, I'm super interested. They got a lot of dudes who can.
They got a lot of guys.
A lot of things, yeah.
As on defense, and that's a big deal. Bradley Mestache says the college football green dot rule allows one player on offense and one player on defense per team to use in-helmet radio communication with the sideline. So, I mean, obviously, these guys have different kind of helmets. Like if someone needs to, plus they can also just signal it in as well. You know, just because there is a green dot doesn't mean they forego the signals. But thank you for that information, Bradley. All right, back to the prompt here. So right guard is also unknown, and we'll just have to. I think by Marcus Freeman's like game week press conference, they'll put out I wonder if they'll put in or. If they do, that would be so annoying. But a lot of the time they like to just kind of make that announcement.
They did it last year, right?
Yeah, they like to.
But then they played Lambert pretty much the whole game, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we'll see. That's but that's still up in the air and we're monitoring. Wide receiver rotation still an open question. I only say that because they have 4 we think that they're ready to like play starter snaps with, which Faison, Graham, Greathouse, and Gilbert. And I do think Gilbert is in that group. But like how much each plays, if they move Great House over to boundary, if they move Graham over to boundary, if they move whoever, to different spots, like that is still kind of up in the air. We don't really know that. We don't really know the 5th, 6th, and 7th. We think we do, right? I think Bubba Frazier's in that group. I think, is Jerome Bettis Jr. in that group? I'm not sure, right? It kind of seems like Cam Williams. It seems like Cam Williams has just kind of fallen off the map here. We haven't heard his name in a long time. We haven't seen any clips of him or anything like that. Marcus Freeman did not mention his name in the press conference, as I recall. I think Devin Fitzgerald was mentioned. I think Elijah Burris was mentioned. Jerome Bettis Jr. was mentioned. And now this was a boundary conversation, but like Cam Williams is also working the boundary too. So
I do think that there is something to that, just because it's easy to forget like a young guy who's like been, oh yeah, he's in the mix or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like you forget to mention somebody's name. When someone's been around and if they're like kind of breaking through, that's a person you don't forget to mention.
Yeah.
So it would be surprising if you're like, oh, this is the 3rd series, and you're like, Cam Williams out there. But like, to me, just based off of what we heard right now, and also too, like, it's not like anyone has said. I haven't heard from anyone that said, yeah, Cam Williams really, it happened for him this camp. It's happening, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a fact. Like we haven't heard the name. John Imperial says Matt Jeffrey, 100%. I think he's somewhere in that mix, right? He's someone who is, I don't know, right? I know that he's had a good camp, but where is he in relation to like Bubba Frazier? Where is he in relation to someone like Elijah Burris, who, I mean, the fact that Marcus Freeman comes out and name drops him, right, that's something to me, right? The fact that he was slowed down by a hamstring and then he comes in, and apparently he's done a good job. So, Bradley Mustache says, from what it sounds like, we will go 8 or 9 deep at wide receiver, which is crazy to think. Did Notre Dame have 9 scholarship wide receivers 3 years ago? To be honest, they might not have. But that's the point that I'm making with this prompt. Like, they're excited about a bunch of guys. How many of them are they like, okay, we're going to put you in a football game when the ending is in doubt, right? That's the part that we don't know, right? And so that's just something that we're going to have to monitor as the games go on. Unfortunately, I think we have to put this in here. We're monitoring the kicker situation, Jamie. He missed 3 field goals. There was another practice where the field goals looked good, but I think he had missed those as well. He's missing them. We got to monitor, right? There's no other way to put it. If he had made them, we wouldn't put it on here, but he didn't. And there was one where it's like, hey, the end of practice, the game-winning field goal, he missed it or whatever. It's got to be on here.
Well, I would just say even if he was lights out, you'd still be monitoring it because of all the problems they've had the last couple of years, which, I mean, largely due to injuries. And as Mike said too, you don't know if it's like the holder stuff, if there's other stuff with the snap that's going on. So you can't like put it 100% like, man, Porath just doing terrible. Like, we don't know the exact circumstances of everything. So there might be other pieces of the puzzle that are going there. But trust me, when the very first field goal attempt of the year, Notre Dame fans are going to be like, they're going to be clenching.
Yeah.
And if it goes through, they'll feel good. If he misses, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of that. It's just going to happen because of what it is. And that's what people know, that last year, that if they got into a situation where it was like, hey, it's all up to the kicker, they were probably going to lose.
Yeah.
Like that's how things were for them last year. No one wants to be in that situation. And, I did a pod with our buddy Chris Wilson. We were talking about the kickers and specialists and stuff too. And it's just one of those things where it seemed like everybody on Notre Dame's schedule had an incredible kicker. It was like 80 to 90%. Everybody, like literally everyone. I mean, Spencer Porath was one of them. So, so that's why you have to think that, like, that's why people should be like, okay, when the games mattered, he made the kicks. So let's see what happens when he gets there. But I don't care. It's just like, it's like one of these things. It's remember, Martin Gramatica gets drafted in the whatever second round or wherever he does. Who was the guy that the Raiders picked? The other big
Janikowski,
Sebastian Janikowski, right? It's like, well, every single time there's like, even if there's an expectation of somebody in the kicker, it's like all it takes is like one missed kick for anyone to just be like, like that's how much is on the line. Like kicking is so good right now in the NFL, and it's gotten so much better in college. There's just no excuse. They gotta have, and they just also signed the number one kicker out of Micah Drescher was the number one ranked kicker out of high school too. So whether it's Porath or just Drescher, where it's somebody has got to be an above average kicker for them. That has to happen this year.
Jacob.
But we are monitoring.
We are monitoring. The laces were in. Jacob Paula says, and then John Imperial with the callback. They're lacing it. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff from the chat. And maybe it's the holder, right? But like that's also should I make another banner like monitoring holding? I don't know.
Jasper Scaife, I think, is holding, right? And
God,
first of all, can't wait to watch this guy boot the crap out of the ball on punting. But
we're monitoring that in a good way.
But that wouldn't that be hilarious? It's like this guy's the greatest punter of all time, but his holds,
his holding,
not up to snuff.
He can't spin it. He can't spin it, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All right, running back rotation beyond Aeneas Williams is unknown to me. I don't, and honestly, this is a like a shout out to Kedron Young more than anything. We've heard good things for the past couple of weeks now. Well, I say couple of weeks, camp's a couple of weeks, but you know what I mean? Like past few practices, the times that we've heard Kedron Young looks good. And it's possible that it's Williams and then Young is getting the most work after him, right? And maybe Nolan James is a third down guy. I still think Nolan James will get work. But I think Kedron Young's made this hard where it's like, I think there's three that they're definitely going to play. And I think it's made it hard to the point where it's like Jonas Walton might have a bit tougher time getting on the field than maybe we thought when camp opened, where it was like Jonas Walton, it looks good. Ge Sider said really good things about him. And when we talked to Ge Sider, like I'd love to talk to Ge Sider like tomorrow and kind of get an update, because when he talked about Kedron Young, it was like, well, let's wait to see when we put on pads. And then every time we've heard, stuff from practice after pads, it's like Kedron Young looks good. Kedron Young looks good. So I think that's kind of sitting there. So this is a running back rotation unknown beyond Williams. I think this is like in a good way. I think players have made it difficult to decide who is actually going to get the most work behind Aeneas Williams, because I think at this point people are very excited about Aeneas Williams and what he can do. Don't really know what's beyond that. I think runners are showing themselves well to get the majority of the carries after Williams, and I think that's a big deal. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I think it's more of like a good problem. Like they got too many guys who are good enough to play, rather than, hey, I don't know if they have anybody there. That's not the case, right? So Mike Denbrock is going to be speaking today, and so is Chris Ash and a few players too. I believe the law firm of Flanagan are also speaking, and Armel Mukam are speaking as well. So interesting to hear from those guys too. But I think I have a feeling that you're going to get those kind of questions. Like Mike Denbrock's going to be asked about right guard. He's going to be asked about the running back rotation. He's going to be asked about.
He's going to be asked about backup quarterback for sure.
Oh, 100%. Like there's probably going to be too many questions about the backup quarterback. So let me I know the beat probably isn't listening to this right now, specifically live, but please don't ask 5 questions about the backup quarterback. Keep it at 2, guys. And let's get in the other stuff. Like
Keep it at none. They can't know.
Or just 1 question or something. Because then you just get his thoughts on it. Because Dan Brock's a pretty honest guy.
He is.
He's someone who will be like, well, right now we don't have anyone. He would say that kind of thing. Like, we don't have anyone. So, and then that's instructive to kind of know, okay, well, please do not get hurt, CJ Carr, right? So there's all of these things that, it needs to be asked, but it happens too much. Like, there was like 7 questions about KVA's return on the thing. It's like, no, we got enough. He's back. Hey, good. Sounds good. Hey, he's a great player. Yeah, we got it.
We got it. Speaking of things I'd like to kind of figure out from coordinators, we're monitoring the defensive tackle snaps. And I wanted to ask you this specifically because you were defensive tackle famously. And we love that Notre Dame has good depth there, right? It's a very good position to have a lot of players you can play. At the same time, it's hard to, they always say play the hot hand. How hard is it to find the hot hand when there's 6? You don't want your top performer. You don't want a guy who's just killing it getting 20 snaps because, it's like, well, we got to find snaps for this guy because he did well in camp too. How do you balance that? It's got to be difficult. And I'd like to ask, Partridge this too, but Chris Ash as well. Like, how do you balance finding that hot hand when there's 6 guys that you can put in the game that you feel confident can do things?
I think you always come in with a plan of like, okay, first series is going to be these 2 guys. Maybe the first series is going to be, I think right now, I have a feeling they'll go first series, these guys, second series, next guys, and that kind of thing. And then maybe back to the 1s, and then maybe the 5th and 6th guy get the 4 series. Like, I could see them do something like that as a plan to kind of start the game, because I think you kind of have to do that, especially when you're making a conscious effort to, 1, have the guys fresh in the 4th quarter and all that too. Like, I think that's something you have to do, and you have to kind of come in with a plan to be like, okay, we know, like, hey, 5th series coming up, like, this is what we're doing. Obviously sometimes it changes because if it's like a 10-play drive, you're switching guys out, right? Like, that's happening too. So there's got to be some kind of awareness there. Obviously, Partridge has done this for years and years, so he's had to manage it. But it's hard with 6 to get the 5th and 6th guy really in enough to where you can really kind of evaluate. And then, but it also becomes like everybody's got to take advantage of their reps, because it is one of these things where all of a sudden you might be on the field and the team scores, like the offense scores against you. Might be tough to get back on the field.
Yeah.
Like that. And it might not have anything to do with the defensive tackles, but it's just like that happens all the time, right? It's like, well, we got to change it up. And so it could be as simple as that. But I think in terms of finding the hot hand, it is hard because you want to get like a rhythm and like be able to like get comfortable and playing without obviously wearing anybody down.
Yeah.
But I think it helps when it just shows like the competition. Guys are going to have to come out like with their hair on fire right away. And I think about Jared Dawson was a guy last year that you would say like, okay, he's like maybe starting, maybe in the mix, whatever. And then there was a point in the season where he just like, wow, he turned it up and like first series balling, just that kind of thing. And when that happens, it's like, well, it establishes it, right? So I think that's what you're going to have to see is like who's coming out like right away. Like if Mookum comes out on the first series and it's like TFL just right away, I mean, they're going to ride him. Like that's what's going to happen.
it's tough too, because when we were talking about the dime stuff, like we didn't list the D tackle.
Yeah.
So, like now we're talking about 2 downs, right? Like now we're talking about just first and second. And
I do think some of those guys will get in the mix.
Some of those will, right? Because like Francis Brew, we know can get after the quarterback. We know Elijah Hughes can get after the quarterback. We know Armel Mukam can get after the quarterback, right? Like Jason Onye can get after the quarterback. Like there are guys who specialize in that. And that's good. And, Joe Mark mentioned like there's situational football too, right? Like it's 3rd and short, or it's 4th and short, or it's, an obvious pass rush type situation. So there's roles for everyone, or there can be roles for everyone. I just like, I wonder about their ability to, I wonder about their ability to juggle it, because it's a lot. I mean, Notre Dame's never been in this situation before. I mean, look, and this is where like, a school like Georgia, this guy transferred away from Georgia. It's like, how is this guy getting from Georgia? It's because, they have 6 of them, and he's not playing that much. So like he wants to get on the field or whatever it might be. Here's something for Jamie. Speaking of the D line, we'll keep it on this one. Who's the best D lineman that can play all 3 downs? And we have to project a little bit, because again, we haven't seen these guys, right? Jamie has not seen these guys in pads. So there's that, right? So we're asking Jamie to project here. So who's the best D lineman that can play all 3 downs? Do you think Notre Dame has a guy who's great at run stuffing and at rushing the passer?
I mean, I think it's Boubacar Traore. I think it's
let's interior.
Okay.
Because he's not one who's Boubacar doesn't need to come off the field unless he needs time.
He's going to play a ton, right? He's going to play a ton, much like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say that it's tough, because I think there's a lot of guys that are pretty good at both. So I don't know if there's anyone who's like great at one thing or the other. Like Brew is a good pass rusher. I'd probably go Onye. Yeah, I think that's fair to say that he would be the guy that you'd probably point to. But I don't know. I think that's one of the things is like, if you were going to point to somebody, you'd say like Tion Gray, unless it's a short yardage thing, he's not going to be in on 3rd down rush of the pass. Like that's not going to be a thing for him.
Yeah.
But Sean Seviano too, although he does have, I think he can get after it a little better than probably people think for a guy his size. He's probably not going to be a guy who rushes on 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
But the other 4 guys, Onye, Brew, Mukam, Hughes, those guys could all be in the mix. And it's a little bit like if you think about when Notre Dame had Cross and Mills, and Heinisch too was really rushing the passer really well that year. Cross was going in first, and really it wasn't until Cross got hurt that Mills started playing on 3rd down more when they started doing it. So, and then later on, then Mills got hurt, and they're like, "Oh man!" Then Heinisch got more run as you went along. So, yeah, I think you're going to see a kind of a mix there, and some of it we don't know, and we're just going to wait and see to see who ends up being the best.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking about some more run stuff and stuff. Yeah, so we're just going to monitor the defensive tackle snaps. That's an interesting as the season goes on kind of deal, because usually what happens is you get enough games on tape. They start to figure out, okay, like this is the pecking order. This is who's performing on a game to game basis and that sort of thing. So
and one other thing to just add is that usually this happens like early in the season, where they go through it and it's like, then they go back and look at it and they're like, this guy only got 8 snaps.
Yeah.
We got to get him more snaps. Like, and then they adjust as they go along. Also got to just remember too, like guys get hurt. So all of a sudden that, 6 can go to 5 or 4 or something on a given week.
Yeah. All right. Freshmen that we believe are in play to play, non-special teams, right? So I think there's going to be a bunch of freshmen that play on special teams, but these are like offense and defense. I think Jonas Walton will play some point. I think Rodney Dunham will play. I think Bubba Frazier will play. I think Joey O'Brien will play. I mean, they've worked him in with the twos, like in place of Ethan Long. Now, I think truly this is a situation where, like, I guess maybe unfortunate for Long that he's already gotten a bunch of reps. I mean, he's probably gotten some reps with the ones even. But like he's gotten so many reps, like, hey, we're just going to give you Joey O'Brien's, and he's got to make sure Long's got to make sure he's sharp. But they have to. O'Brien is the fifth safety, but they keep working him in. I think they've done it enough times where it's like they want him to play in games. They want to get him up to speed. That's just my read of it. So I think those four, I would say if people were, making me gamble or bet or whatever, I would bet on those four. Osborne is a surprise to me because he didn't get to play in the spring because he was hurt. So it's like you're coming back from an injury. You're not doing anything. The last couple of practices, like the last week and a half, every time people have seen him, it's like he looks good. He looks good. He looks good. He's making plays. Like he has forced himself in. So that's great because we had heard going into like even spring, like Notre Dame's very excited about him. This is like 10 months ago. Very excited about him. Got curbed because of the wrist injury. Comes back. Now he looks good again. So that's great for him. It's great for Walton and Osborne as a freshman running back class. So that's great. I think it's possible he can get into the game just based on what we've heard. Premer is one where it's like you just know the physical talent and they're excited about him. But it's like we've seen one clip of him making kind of a play on a corner route or a slot fade or a tight end fade in practice. Haven't really heard any team stuff, but there's just has he been with the main group ever? And they have a bunch of tight ends who have, right? The only other name I would have put on this is Aiden Pouncey, just because it seems like he's been coming on lately. But that's kind of it. You anything else on these guys and anyone else that you think I'm missing?
I'll probably throw Devin Fitzgerald in there too, because he was mentioned enough to say that like he's made plays, right? Yeah. So I think because of that, and also because of Porter's uncertain status, like I think if you think that he's capable, he's got to know some of the offense because they're like an injury away from him being that much closer to playing. Like, so it's, I would probably throw him in and agree with Pouncey too, because Osborne, Premer, Pouncey, and Fitzgerald feel like I doubt we're going to see them in regular offense, regular defense in week one. But other than garbage time or whatever, right? But I feel like they're going to play this year at some point. Those, maybe not all of them, but 2 or 3. I feel pretty confident at least 2 or 3 of those guys are going to play. Yeah. And then these other guys, I think, for sure. I would say the big thing with O'Brien is that I kind of feel like if he plays early, it'll be much more, hey, it's third and forever. Well, Joey, we're going to give you a chance here. You're going to play here because I don't think they want him like it's 3rd and 2. We need you to make this tackle here on Abu Sama, the back from Wisconsin. Like, yeah. I don't think he's that point yet. I think that there's a much greater chance that it would be, one of the other 4 safeties they want in that situation.
Yeah. Like people love the Kyle Hamilton comparison. I think between these two players, the difference is Kyle came in and was just a great tackler. I mean, he was just
physical, just more physical
player. Yeah. Just had that edge to him where he wanted to hurt you, and that's like, he's just like that.
Hurt people.
Yeah. And And that's not Osborne's game right now. It just, I mean, O'Brien's game right now. Just not. And hopefully that comes, right? I mean, look, to me, and I've always thought this, O'Brien was much more Bobby Taylor than he was Kyle Hamilton. Just same kind of movements, the same kind of, like Bobby Taylor wasn't the most physical guy either. He was a hell of a football player. He could play corner, and obviously he played safety as a freshman. So that's kind of where I have him.
Hold on, because there's always going to be someone who O'Brien wasn't 100% PSU. Glad PSU fired Franklin. They fired him after he was already committed for a long time. So that was not the case. So just so you know, somebody told you that wasn't true.
Yeah. I mean, it might have helped that PSU was like bad.
Probably helped that Notre Dame beat Penn State thing, but that wasn't, he was already committed.
Yeah.
Way before.
Oh yeah, he committed in June. What are we talking about? Yeah, he committed in June.
It wasn't a thing. So whoever was spreading that thing,
I thought it was Oregon.
It was between Oregon and
I thought it was an Oregon thing. Yeah.
Yes.
John Imperial says, I'll take Bobby Taylor. I will also take that. If Joey O'Brien turns out to be Bobby Taylor, I will 100% take that and have a very good time watching him play football. I'm just saying, there's a difference between the two players, and that's what it is. Is there anything from camp? Because I have an answer. Is there anything from camp that you didn't hear and you kind of wish you did?
I think I would probably have to say that I would have liked to hear more. I mean, certainly he's in the top group, so it's there, but would have liked to hear more like, oh, Mylan Graham is just having a time, because I do think he is on the list of guys who are like, well, he raises the ceiling. I think he's a guy who could be a ceiling raiser for the offense. So it would be, that one stands out to me. But on the flip side, before you get to your one of that, I didn't expect like them to be like Armel Mukum. He's really that. So sometimes, you know, you don't get that. And I'm not saying that, you know, you want everything to go great and or that Graham won't blow up this year, but it wasn't on anyone's bingo card that Armel Mukum, it was like, yeah, it's a nice story. He's in the mix in the spring. And it's like, oh no, he's like going to be somebody for Notre Dame this year. Yeah. And that's just like, I think people wouldn't have been surprised if he was the 5th or 6th guy, but are more surprised that he's like one of the top guys. And that is like a really nice surprise.
Yeah. I think Graham is like, I agree with you. If you hadn't said it, I would have. I think here's the nice thing about Graham for me is like, I kind of feel like he's in that Kevin Austin 2021 thing where it's like the talent is obviously there, but like Austin had been hurt so much and there was a suspension as well, where it's like, man, is it ever going to happen for him? And the fact is he came in and he was clearly the best wide receiver. And I think that's a lot. And whereas on this team, they have Faison and they have Greathouse, who have been around, who it's like they can be the guys.
They know the offense inside and out.
They can be the guys who are accountable.
Yeah.
And so like Graham doesn't have that pressure right away. It's like, hey, you're the best guy and you need to be like a playmaker all the time. Right. I think that's good for him. I do wish we had heard a little bit more of like, man, this guy, like he's giving them problems.
And also, I wouldn't be surprised at all if you saw kind of like how Kevin Austin's year was, where you're like, man, Graham really hasn't done much in this first little bit, or he's done some things, he's flashed, but I don't know. And then, like, because in that 2021 season, like, I'm sure you could look at, like, say, like the last 5 games or 6 games or whatever it was with Kevin Austin, and he took off.
Yeah.
Like, he took off. And you didn't see him. Remember, he had real trouble beating press against Purdue. And that was like
against Purdue and then against Cincinnati, where obviously.
And that was like something. And then, I mean, obviously he wasn't going against Sauce Gardner. That helped later on. But
Right.
he had clearly made a jump. I understand why he left school early. He had a bunch of problems and he was like, I'm going to go and take my chances. He should have came back. He should have came back because he was in line to make a big jump the next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, the thing beauty about the college football playoff is that like Mylan Graham can make that jump and then continue it.
Yeah.
So he might be this year's Justin Ross, like that kind of thing. I think that could be on the table for him. And I think, I mean, maybe that's wishful thinking or whatever, but I honestly think he's got that kind of talent. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's good that he doesn't have the pressure of being Notre Dame's top wide receiver. Right.
Yeah.
Just take a year to just be a guy who contributes, every once in a while has 4 catches for 80 and a touchdown or something like that, whatever it might be.
Just to Jay Paul, he's gonna make plays during. He's part of the regular mix. Like he's not going to be just a garbage time guy. So
yeah. He's going to.
We're just talking about him being like a dude, like a full on like, hey, he is one of Notre Dame's top 2 receivers or something like that.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. Mine is I'm really, and this isn't even like anyone's fault. I regret that Dallas Golden hurt his shoulder. I just think like, because I haven't heard about him since he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I know he's been out there, but like I haven't heard a thing. Haven't seen a clip.
No.
And I feel like he was ready to be like a serious player for Notre Dame. And I maybe he still is. I don't know. Right. I don't even know where he's at. I'm bothered by it because I just felt like, man, he's a guy that can really do stuff.
He might have had a breakout camp. Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And so, hopefully he's okay, right? Like hopefully he can move on from it. Like the thing with these corners and these DBs, once the harness goes on the shoulder, like it doesn't come off until the season ends. And I'm sure at the end of the year, we'll probably hear about, he had his shoulder cleaned up or he had some procedure on his shoulder, whatever it might be. And he's going to have to play through it, and he's smaller, right? We saw the same thing with Cam Hart. We saw the same thing with Kyle Hamilton when he had the harness on. Like that's the way it goes. I think he would be mine, right? I don't know that there's really other ones. Like someone mentioned Quincy Porter before. For us, I think we feel different. I have a sense that ISD feels different about Porter than everyone else because we have always been of the opinion that like, man, this injury is like, it's a kind of a big deal. And it's just not, he's not going to be back. Like it just didn't seem that way. And so, I wish it was different, but I was not in any way expecting it to be different. It just wasn't a factor for me.
I mean, not to say that his injury is to the extent of what it is with Charles Jugasaw, but he is closer to that category for me in the, hey, maybe whatever, if it works later on in the year and things are all of a sudden we hear stuff but until you hear something that it's like, it's trending the way, zero expectation for me. And I think you feel the same way. Like, so.
Yeah. Like, well, just think about it. Like he had a procedure in January and now it's about to be September. And we're having another procedure to try to, I mean, we don't even know what the injury is. We're not really sure.
When you're pushing through stuff and you're kind of limping at the beginning of the camp and it's like, oh, well, it's supposed to be getting better. And it's like, well, now he's got to do another, like, that's never good. It's the opposite of what, I said this before, but it's the opposite of what was happening with Kingston, Viliamo-Asa and Ashton Craig, where it's like, oh yeah, everything's trending great. These guys are gonna be ready and whatever and blah blah blah. Not the same with
and on the other end of the spectrum, like I mean, Craig and KVA being where they are right now is a very nice,
very positive, very
good thing, right? Because Notre Dame really needs those two guys to be healthy. They're two of their best players on the team, and that's that's very positive news. I think on the main, we thought I think fans and us have believed this is a very good football team. They're strong in all the places you want them to be strong. I mean, we don't talk about CJ Carr that much because A, we haven't seen him, and B, it's like everything we hear is kind of expected. Like he looks great. He's throwing the ball well. He's a leader. He's showing good leadership. It's just a matter of going out there and doing it. So I think that's where things are with Carr. There are things that, I don't know. You wish that you heard. I guess the biggest thing is like Mylan Graham, like truly. I wish that it heard a couple of more times, like, oh man, he got so-and-so on a post that was like just a beautiful route and a beautiful ball. And just like, man, that's going to be tough to cover for teams. We didn't hear that stuff. And that's not to say it didn't happen ever or whatever. We didn't hear it. So we can't report on that. Anything else, Gene?
No, it's, we're right at that time where it's like, man, let's get going. Like,
yeah.
We're right at that time.
There was somebody in the chat yesterday who I Davey something.
Oh yeah.
And right at the beginning, he's like, man, I love your pods. You guys are great. He's like, but it's all conjecture now. And like, there's nothing left to talk about. And I was like, look, man, that's true.
I get it. But also, did you need to come on and comment that?
Yeah. Please listen. But I understand. I see where you're coming from. We need things to start up. I think Thursday we might have to do mailbag.
Yeah. That sounds.
I think it's time.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I think it's time for a mailbag show. All right, so that's what we're going to do, and that's a good place to end it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what you heard, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whatever it is. We are going live. We'll be back on Thursday with a mailbag show. We're going to post a thread on the message board, and then you can put in your question, and we'll answer them for you. It's going to be very fun. All right, have a good rest of your day, everyone. We will talk to you on Thursday. Keep hitting and hustling.